Hello and welcome to Pleasure Coma ASMR. Today I will be reading an article by Satine C. Psychic Vampires and the Use of Etheric Energy. Vibrating energy is what makes up the existence of everything in life and is commonly referred to as waves of energy flowing through the universe. Everyone gives out certain vibrational frequencies, which is what attracts the many events that occur in your day to day life. Psychic vampires have learned to give out and control these frequencies, which allow them to remain in the form they are in. Energy comes in many different colors and forms, and every emotion that is created gives out a specific type of energy that differentiates itself from the other types created. Let's talk about energy that is created by positive actions. For instance, creating a positive emotion in someone by doing something nice for the person is a way to get positive energy forming. When you create a positive emotion in someone, you are allowing the person you are creating that emotion with to release positive energy, which can come in the colors of yellows, pinks, oranges, purples, and greens. It varies with the person and the positive emotion being felt. This is the kind of energy you want to create. While it does take longer and more work to create this kind of energy, the results in the long run are much more rewarding and you will feel better physically. When feeding off the positive energy created, you will feel the positive emotions of that person you are feeding off of. Same goes if you are feeding off the energy provided by things in nature, like trees, for instance. If you take energy from the tree, give energy back to it. When you create positive energy, it is almost like you are feeding off each other at that point. You are both exuding a positive field of energy, and in turn, you are not creating a negative energy field. When you have this kind of energy, you naturally attract it toward yourself without even trying most of the time. It also makes you feel good physically in the sense that you can think clearer. You are less prone to becoming ill. You feel good about yourself. It makes giving and taking energy 10 times easier than it would be if you were to choose to take the route of creating negative energy in others and in your environment. Another form of creating energy in order to absorb or feed off it is the one mentioned above, the creation of negative energy. This way of creating energy through negative actions or emotions directed at others can be one of the fastest and easiest ways to create and feed off of energy, but it is also dangerous to you and dangerous to those you are feeding off of. All one has to do in order to create a negative form of energy is start talking to someone in a negative way, such as being condescending or talking to someone like they are a 5-year-old. When you do that, it creates frustration and even anger in others, and you can then take their energy immediately and produce large results by continuing to push that person's buttons, so to speak. Starting a fight or an argument with someone produces negative energy results fast. It is easy to continue insulting someone, if you will. The consequences of taking energy in this manner can result in many ways that are pleasant for some and not so pleasant for others. If you care at all about other people and their feelings or well being, you will not perform this type of feeding of energy from others. It can make you feel ill, and keep in mind that you are absorbing that person's emotions and feelings as well. So, if they are depressed, you become depressed. The upside is that you replenish your energy fast, but the downside is that it diminishes fast as well. Taking energy in this way not only can cause you to attract a lot of negative things into your life, such as a lack of close friends or family, or even the inability to hold a job or sustain a relatively normal life, but it also affects your own personally, mentally, and physical well being with its toxins that negative energy tends to carry. For example, let's say that you have a close friend that you always pick on because they are broke all the time. This is purely an example, and they never have money to do anything. Eventually, that person you are picking on will start to be on the defensive with you because you are always making fun of them. This creates an emotion of anger or frustration, which are both negative. Now, every time you're around that person, they start to give off a negative form of energy instead of a positive one of emotions and energy. It is easy to get someone to give off that negative energy field without really trying. It's the positive energy field that tends to be a challenge for a lot of people, and therefore, many people create negative energy fields around others. Not all vampires have to create some sort of emotion in someone in order to take their energy. For some of us, it just comes naturally, while others, it takes time and a lot of practice to learn how to just walk up to someone and touch their hand and take their energy without creating a positive or negative emotion in them. While creating positive or negative energy in someone, it just basically adds to the energy a vampire is already receiving just by being in the presence of someone. It takes a lot of concentration and a tremendous amount of focus to develop this form of feeding. And it is best to learn from someone else who already knows how to do this, so that if they can guide you along the way to help you develop this skill. It is also possible to manipulate others' energy fields in order to get what you want out of them, or to make them do what you want them to do in a way. This is something that, again, comes naturally to some, and for others, it is quite a challenge to master. Once you are able to successfully learn this technique, it can make life much easier for you and make taking that person's energy even simpler. Some people choose to use this gift for their own uses and gains, while others choose to use it to have fun with people or just to be devious. You can, for instance, focus your energy on someone you may want to get something from for free, like at a store or even the movie theater. With this ability, you can convince people of just about anything, and they will believe it. And they will do a lot of what you ask of them. You can draw people in for feeding as well with this ability. Learning how to use your own energy to take partial control of what others may think or do is an ability that should not be taken lightly, and could easily fall into the hands of those who choose to use it for their own dark purposes. Energy has been used for healing those who have ailments for thousands of years by just about every different culture in our world, as well as on other planes of existence. It is the life force which keeps everything living and alive and able to function on a daily basis. Without our energy field, or aura, we could cease to exist as humans, as well as vampires. A vampire cannot survive without an energy field or without replenishing it, just as anything else in this world. Understanding the energy field and what affects it and the results you will receive by feeding off of certain energies is important. And knowing how to live and survive in a relatively negative, energy-free lifestyle for any vampire, intentional or unintentional. Additional information. Vampirism isn't simply the old cliche of being sucked of energy. This is what all the others in all the books are saying. This is only about 50% of the problem, and in a way doesn't even constitute the main type of attack. One of the most dangerous aspects of the attack is to actually be dumped on by the other person. You need to understand bioenergy and how it works, courting and the exchanging of energies, along with how each person plays a role. The vampiristic kind of person has the greatest success from people who suffer enormous trauma and enormous loss throughout their lives, whose consciousness has been traumatized, who have been beaten up a lot, who have had a lot of difficulty in life, who have been underdogs, who have been outsiders, who need a lot of warmth and affection. Energy vampires tend to stay away from people who are stronger, people who are centered, people who have lived a better life. This has been Pleasure Coma ASMR.